Right, so today we have two presentations for you during this session. We're going to have a presentation from Wessel and Tessa, both from Deloitte, talking about their state of the state project and dashboard that they created on top of it. So they're going to talk about that. And then the second presentation will be from Ojoswi, who's going to share some Tableau tips and tricks, some of them using some of the latest features that have been released. So that should be interesting and something practical for you all to take back. Now, first, I wanted to also do a quick promotion, and that's why we have Sunita also joining us today from the Viz for Social Good project. Some of you may have seen her in a previous presentation she did on the user group, but we're planning something exciting. So I'll ask Sunita to start sharing her screen and give us a bit of a sneak preview.
Yes. Let's see. Does this work?
Yeah.
Is it actually in presentation mode? Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, just here to share some quick, very exciting news we have. The Tableau user group has partnered with Viz for Social Good to bring an awesome event to all of you. For those of you who don't know, Viz for Social Good is an initiative to foster collaboration between nonprofits and the data viz community. So we partner with volunteers who work on data visualizations for nonprofits because they often don't have the resources and skills to do so. So on April 29th, we're going to have an event from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's going to be a hands-on session / workshop / hackathon or educational session that I'm hoping a lot of you can join. We'll also have a beginner's Tableau session. You can learn how to get started on a Viz for Social Good project, get some advice from Tableau expert. So in the spirit of International Women's Day, we have partnered with an organization called Crowd2Map Tanzania. So they're using mapping of remote areas in Tanzania of villages to save young girls from genital mutilation. So basically they use OpenStreetMap, the app, to locate schools, hospitals, roads, buildings, and villages to find easy ways to access these girls and rescue girls at risk. So if you want to learn more about the organization, then this session would also be really interesting. I'll share a link so you can learn more about them and to also see what the awesome work they do. So we don't have the final details yet on what kind of data they need help with, but we'll communicate that closer to the event. Like I said, there will be different breakout sessions to learn how to get started and to hopefully learn more about the organization as well. If you have any questions, or you can write in the chat or shoot me or Jim an email. We're looking forward to having all you and excited to have this event with all you. Thank you.
Yes, exactly. Well, thanks a lot. But yeah, we're certainly excited to partner up with Viz for Social Good. And yeah, if you're looking for something where you can really kind of have some hands-on practical sessions, either as a beginner to help you get started, or maybe you have some specific questions or you just don't know how to get started with these kind of projects, this should be a interesting event and something well, slightly different that we're trying to offer. Obviously, we'll do this in addition to some of the other events that we're still offering as well from the user group. But with that, we're going to switch to our first main presentation of today from Wessel and Tessa. They said that they already had all their information in their own slides, so I'm not going to introduce them too much, and I'll just ask you guys to start presenting. And I'm very interested to hear what you're going to be able to tell us. Oh, and maybe for everyone, like what Sunita said, if you have any comments, you can put them in the chat. If you have any questions, we'll probably cover them after the presentation, but you can already put them in the Q&A, and we'll make sure they all get answered. But with that, I'll hand it over to you, Wessel.
Great, thanks a lot, Jim. So let me share my screen. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, great, amazing. Yeah, so as we said, a quick introduction, maybe starting with myself and then to Tessa. My name is Wessel Niessen. I'm a senior consultant within Deloitte. Yeah, a little bit about my job. We try to work together with companies to get to move from data and help them understand these complex problems. And I mainly focus on building KPIs and dashboards and actually going from these insights using storytelling. So I personally specialize in Tableau, of course, also a little bit in ClickSense, but we won't go into that detail, as well as finance analytics and strategy analytics. And I have a heart for sustainability. Tessa?
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tessa. I have been a working student for 1.5 years right now, and I'm actually writing my thesis at the same department as well. Yeah, I have been working on this dashboard that we're going to present later on for the last year. So yeah, that has been my main project in Tableau. Yeah, for the rest, hobbies, brewing beer and watching Formula 1, as you can see on the screen. But let's dive into the content, shall we?
Great, thanks, Tessa. Yeah, maybe just to give you guys an idea where we're located in our department. I have a few slides just to give you guys an idea. So this is kind of how Deloitte is organized. We're within consulting, and then we're within strategy, analytics, and M&A. And what we're kind of focusing on visual analytics. So this is definitely the stuff we're going to show you guys today, is to show advanced data visualizations, for example. But we also do work on data analytics modernization, so how to look at data management, as well as artificial intelligence. And we work together with a wide range of clients, so where we create cool dashboards together and get the best insights on the table in that sense. So again, yeah, I won't stop here too long. Maybe cool to have to show you guys how we're organized. So we actually, within Deloitte, we have a whole Tableau competence center, and we call ourselves geeks and gurus on Tableau, where we really get all our knowledge together. So this is not only within our own department, but also across Deloitte in that sense. So for example, we meet together, we create dashboards for us internally, we gave internal trainings as well. We try to have a connection with Tableau. So in that sense, we have somebody from Tableau who comes by every time there's an update of Tableau, and they show us the new features. And we also have a little look at eminence, like stuff we are doing. Maybe one of the cool things we're currently doing, would like to share with you, is an internal Iron Viz. So within Deloitte Northwest Europe, we're actually having an Iron Viz. The idea is to create the most beautiful visualization using sustainability data. So maybe cool to mention that Tessa is actually in the final, so really happy for that from that sense. And as you can see, we have a lot of participants across Europe. And this, yeah, it's just really cool to have internal stuff like this, to show each other what kind of dashboard you're building, but also to help each other in that sense. Gives a cool view of the internal Tableau community within our company. Another thing which we also try to do is every once in a while we say, hey, let's give each other an inspiration session, and everybody shows this really cool visualizations they've seen, for example, which won the Tableau Viz of the Day or the Makeover Monday. And we try to inspire each other in that sense. Maybe cool to mention as well, we won Viz of the Day one time, and it was really nice for us to get. See some things in the chat, but I can't able to see that. What's the source of sustainability data? Tessa, do you know that one about the Iron Viz for sustainability data?
Yeah, we were working on the Sustainable Development Goals data, and they told us, yeah, we have this data set from the World Bank, and just make some beautiful visualizations out of it. And our visualization is more focused on the water goals, for example. But I guess that will be posted on LinkedIn later on after the finals, if you would like to know more about that.
Cool. Thanks for your question. Yeah. Nice. Maybe good to go into the state of the state. So I would like to give the word to Tessa. So maybe the idea to give you guys what is state of the state, and then we'll dive into the visualization.
Yes. So together with two other colleagues, I had the opportunity to delve into this new normal dashboard. But before I take you through the project, I want to tell you a bit more about the research initiative State of the State, and what we are doing and why are we doing these type of projects. So by definition, State of the State is a current data analysis of the country that's intended to provide policymakers and organizations with useful insights around areas of education, but also healthcare, housing markets, the labor market, and cybercrime. Of course, the pandemic right now. And we are mostly using open data to do these projects. So over the last years, we have done research around subjects ranging from cancer diagnosis to the greenness of the Dutch gardens and solar panels. But today we're going to talk about the research around COVID. So as you might remember, last year there was a lot of talk about the Corona dashboard, and every press conference or news update contained this fancy term dashboard. And a lot of people were still thinking of their car dashboards, but this dashboard actually was meant to give us people from the Netherlands insights into the development of the COVID patients in hospitals, for example. But there was also a lot of noise in articles around stuff that was changing in our day-to-day lives. So as data enthusiasts discussed thinking, what if we made our own dashboard from open data that we could find on the internet to visualize these developments that were happening in society? And that's kind of where we started with our new normal project. So yeah, we wanted to visualize something else than hospital information and positive test numbers. We wanted to visualize our new normal. And we quickly developed 6 main themes that seemed most interesting to us, like work, mobility, health, food, energy, and security. And all articles and subjects that we found online could be placed under one of these pillars. And within Deloitte, we have some special focus teams that delve into the development of these areas of experience. So what's going on in these sectors? What are the changes and what's the innovation? And in many meetings with these professionals, they provide us with lots of inspiration and main indications on what was happening in, for example, the food or mobility spectrum of our day-to-day lives. And based on these indications, we started searching on internet for data sets and on these topics of interest. And most of the time, the data sets we found were from the CBS, the Central Bureau of Statistics. And this platform has many data sets on their Statline platform, and everything is open data. And some are updated monthly, some quarterly, some per province, and some even per county or PC4 area. And all the data is about the Netherlands. So this fits the state of the state character of this project very well, since it's about the current analysis of our country. And as we were only with a team of 3, from which 2 developers, which were both students, we only started out with 3 themes, work, mobility, and health, and received a lot of reactions and great feedback. And this gave us the drive to develop the dashboard further to include food and energy and also security in later publications. And that's what we have online right now. So I think that's a bit of the background story, and I think it's time to walk through the dashboard. So I will share my screen. Yes. You guys see it? Okay, this is the main page. And the main storyline throughout the dashboard is that we try to visualize 2019 versus 2020 in order to see where the changes and developments that COVID might have caused on the subjects of interest might have had. And it's an all Dutch dashboard, as you can see. So I will try to translate as much as possible. But if there are any questions about some terms, please leave a comment. And maybe Wessel, if there are comments, could you say so? So what I was thinking for this presentation was to take a closer look at work and food, to dive a bit deeper into what we have visualized. So I opened them already in separate tabs because it might take a while to load because it's a very big dashboard. This is we started with labor participation when we started out with the first publication, and what we immediately saw is that the group of 15 to 25-year-olds got really affected by the pandemic, as since what's happening? Okay. Yes. Where was I? Oh yeah, the younger group was more affected by the pandemic, since we see that from March and April on, there was a lot of decrease in our labor participation, but the more older group had still an increase compared to 2019, which was quite an interesting insight. And after a few months, when the second wave of COVID started, we delved into more into sick leave and bankruptcies as well, which we created these tabs. And as you can see, we included some. It's happening again. We included some of these icons because sometimes we had some very big data sets that required some more work from the viewer to understand what we were actually saying in the visualizations. So what we tried to do with making icons was provide some first insights into what was visualized in other visualizations to gain some interest, and if someone was really interested and wanted to know more, they could explore the rest of the dashboard themselves. I made these icons throughout the dashboard myself in Canva, for example, but I guess you can also make them in PowerPoint. And we called them more of static visualizations or KPIs, and as like mini infographics, which I think is really eye-catching and drives the viewer to look further into the dashboard. So we did the same for bankruptcies, because we all think that a lot of businesses are having a hard time, which is absolutely true. We saw that there were less bankruptcies in 2020 than in 2019. That was a really beautiful insight. Something else we looked into was the food sector. As we might all are missing out on is going to restaurants, and I think we're really missing that. That's also what we saw in the data. We have been eating less in restaurants and cafes and have done more groceries, but less frequently. So more groceries at one time, which is indicated over here. And what we have been eating is also different. Some people have been eating way healthier, and some were at home, I believe, and drank more alcohol than they expected to. And we also have been eating less meat or fish. These insights were gathered from a survey, so that's also why we indicated them in the KPI icons, since it was only a one point in time survey instead of a whole data set from CBS that was over time. So these were more like static visualizations that we could make of those data points. What I think is also a nice feature of our dashboard is that we included a lot of definitions in the question mark icons, because we have lots of terms that might be unclear at first. We included definitions of what it actually means and how they are presented on the CBS or source websites. so the viewer of the dashboard can really understand what the visualizations are saying. Next to that, we also sometimes had, when I was making the energy metric, I saw that there were different levels of the data that we could present. For example, what we see over here is that through time, the fuel usage for ships increased still over, in January, after January, it really decreased, and the flights and more like road traffic had a delayed effect. So that was, I thought it was quite interesting, because we see this happening from March on, and this already happened in January, and it usually stayed above the numbers that we saw from 2019. And we had some more data points around the road traffic. So that's why I indicated over here, like if you want to know more about this subject, I created an even deeper level of detail in the dashboard about prices and a distinction between gas or diesel, which I thought was really interesting. So yeah, that's basically how the dashboard works. We also asked, when we didn't develop the last three themes, we asked for the community for inputs. So we got lots of emails around what we could add. So that's definitely been incorporated in the dashboard eventually. If there are any questions, please. I'm happy to show some other pages, but I think time-wise, it's good to open up for discussion.
Cool. So we got one question, and it said, is this page connected to your Tableau server?
Sorry?
Is the page connected to your Tableau server? So that's the first question.
The Deloitte page.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the dashboard, is it on Tableau?
Yeah. I published it on Tableau Public, and we took the embedded code, which I think you can find on Tableau Public under this icon, and we embedded that in the Deloitte page.
Yeah, I think one thing you already partially answered. How do you create the icons?
In Canva, which is a tool, an online tool.
Cool. Then is the dashboard accessible for us, or is it internal Deloitte?
No, it's open. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's also a whole article around it. So the dashboard is part of a larger series. So we also try to explain what we see, and yeah.
Okay, maybe you can share the link to the article in the chat, if you can, if you have that somewhere. And if I understood you correctly, this is both on Tableau Public as well as on the Deloitte webpage, then, right?
Yeah, sure. I think on Tableau Public the account is called Deloitte NL, I believe. But if you Google on Deloitte Het Nieuwe Normaal, then you'll find the article. Yeah.
Thanks, Eugenia. And then we got another question. Do you connect to CBS data live?
No, we didn't do that. We tried it, but it got the dashboard even slower because it incorporates so many data points. We decided to do it manually each month. But I think it should be feasible to change that, but we haven't had time to dive into that.
So I'm wondering, because I've had some experience trying to connect to the CBS data, and it's typically not been in the best, let's say, best shape to really load it directly into Tableau. Yeah. So do you have any experiences or tips you can share with us about that? Because I found it to be a lot of manual work to even kind of get started with the data.
Yeah, what we usually did was use the Tableau features to prep the data. But sometimes we used Python, for example, because I really wanted to learn more Python. So in that sense, I could combine the two. And sometimes it seems more easier and efficient to do that way. we also, for mobility, for example, we used public transport data, which was not downloadable, but a scraper had to be made, for example. So yeah, we used lots of different techniques to extract the data. If that's answering your question a bit.
I think so. It's definitely always a little challenging, but yeah, there's a lot of data out there if you're willing to put in the effort. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm just looking. I think, well, first of all, there was some comments about that you guys did a stellar job. So that's that's a positive. And yeah, the link has been shared already. I don't see any other questions come in anymore. But if anything, if anyone thinks of anything, you can still put the questions if you want to in the Q&A or a chat. Well, we could, if we have some time at the end of the session, we might come back to them. And otherwise, in the meantime, I think you guys can also see them and answer them through text. So thanks a lot for presenting, Tessa and Wessel. It was great to see this. And well, who knows? I mean, we'll have to keep an eye out how the state of the states keep changing.
Thank you.
Right.
Great. Thank you for having us.
All right. Okay. All right. So then we'll. Oh, I think I shared the wrong screen there. Yes. All right. Okay. Yes. So we're back to the agenda slide. So yeah, thanks again for presenting. And now we'll continue with our second speaker of today. That will be Ojoswi. He's joining us from Canada. So it's really early in this morning. So I'm really happy he could join us this early, and he'll share with us some tips and tricks. So if you're ready, Ojoswi, I'll hand it to you. You can start presenting.
Hi, am I visible and audible?
Yes.
Nod of heads. Yes. Okay. Yeah. The last time I was speaking at the conference, I made a fool of myself. I didn't have the mute unmuted, and there was technical challenges.
All right.
Anyhow,
that seems all good now.
Anyhow, it's early in the morning, but I make it a point that I'm available for the community. It's where my passion is at. So thank you, and it's a big honor to be speaking at any community forums. And Netherlands is, I've never been there, but I've heard only good things. I'm one of the coordinators for the Toronto user group, so I know the hard work that goes into it. But as we speak, I know I'm going to talk about tips and tricks, but let's get the credits out of the way. First, I want to thank Andy Kriebel, Jeff Schaffer, Steve Wexler. They're Hall of Fame Zen Masters. Who I am in the community and what I do has been shaped a lot by their inspiration. I'm very closely working with Ken and Kevin. I'm co-authoring a book. I don't want to give out the name yet, but hopefully there should be something by the end of this year. I speak for the community at least once in a quarter, and body of my work has been in and around Tableau for the last 7-8 years. When it comes to Tableau, it's a matter of heart. So I quit my job and I started my passion project way back when in the dark ages, but today we call it data to visuals. And that is exactly what the business that I'm in. I take data and I build dashboards. So if you liked hearing me after this meeting or whenever, this is my portfolio in Tableau Public. And I do have a LinkedIn handle, that's me. And with me, I want to start with the blueprint and then go into the tips and tricks. I'm end-to-end in the blueprint, but mostly my work is around building dashboards, speaking to users, talking to them, helping the community, and things around that. I have spoken about this, a very similar topic in the Toronto Fringe Festival. I'm going to reuse the content and I'm going to share some of my tips and tricks. So in the next 20 minutes or so, I want to explain what this dashboard does, as I would do it to any business user. And then in the next half, I want to show how we can build this quickly. Understanding the dashboard is important. Why? Because without context, we can't build something. So I always start my build with the question why we are doing something. So imagine I've used the Superstore data that comes with Tableau Public and has no conflict of interest with anyone. And this is the dashboard that I have on Tableau Public. And right up there on the top, I'm using some kind of legends to guide my audience as to what this does. And the technicalities, very high level. And then I would typically have a dashboard title and not relevant in this one, but typically a dashboard would have some context around what it's doing. I try to be, since we know the data, I try to keep it less and focus more on how to build it. It is interactive. If you open this dashboard in your smartphones and it's broken, text me after. But how I build this dashboard is I have different flavors, different device compatibility. And this is something I have worked on before when I was working for one of the big banks here. We had one dashboard. It became so popular that everybody from the operations team to the CIO would be looking at it. And we asked ourselves, how can we enable it? We use this capability in Tableau so that we can be device agnostic. I've come from the product development world. So when I'm building something, I always ask myself, who is my audience? Why do they want to look at this report? So consider this as the Superstore data. And let's start from the most important section in the dashboard, which is by top left. Science paper has said that the eye naturally tends to go to the top left quadrant, and photographers have been using this trick for a long time. I work with some UI UX people and they say the same. So typically, I try to put the most important KPI right here on the top left. And then who doesn't like a donut? This is North America here. And I don't know about Netherlands, but if you hand over a donut to even the cops, you can get away without getting a ticket. So there you go. That's a crowd pleaser. I wanted to throw in a map because that's my pet peeve. Sometimes I do have to work with people who like to see maps. And then over here, these two charts, I want to talk about them if we have time. But they look nice and I just left them there. But predominantly, I want to focus on building these three charts because they are not only very easy, but I want to leave some time to take questions and share ideas. The community is all about that. Given that we see this dashboard, I have downloaded it from public recently. So on the top left, it says as of. That's an old refresh. But I try to put that in my dashboard because it is very helpful. So if you were to look at it, hang on a second. If you were to look at it in the full screen, now I'm struggling with the controls. So just bear with me. All right, let's go to the browser and then open this. If you were to look at it full screen, right off the bat, my users know whether they are looking at stale data. I build business relevant dashboards, and people want to know at what time a dashboard was built, at what time was the dashboard updated, things like that. So for power users who have access to the Tableau server, they can see more details. But for the viewer role, it serves them right to see that they're looking at uh, what data, is it stale or fresh? So it's a good thing. Having a quick tip, that's a good thing. Interactiveness, good thing. These two are quick filters, we love it, but Tableau says limited. So I want to follow directions. I'm a person who wants to read the instruction manual before driving the Bond car. I love to see movies where James Bond would blow away the instruction manual, but as with Tableau, I don't want to play James Bond. Here is the map which we can interact with. So California is very dark, which means something's going on there. And what is that? It is the sales by state for all orders. As you know, the Superstore data is about retail. And in retail, people want to know about bottom line. How much money did they make or sell? So profit, sales, these are important KPIs, right? And if those are important KPIs, then let's understand how to build it. Let's get into the build mode. This is my metadata. I have 3 calculated fields here, of which profit ratio comes with the data set. So let's talk about these 2 measures after we talk about this dimension. Measures and dimensions can be moved up and down. This is something that happened very recently. Initially, they were organized differently, but this is 2020.3. So we have noodles, but I don't want to talk about it today. So my orders versus returns is a calculated field, and it uses the in operator. I don't know about you, but gone are the days when we wrote a case, when, and things like that, or a nested if. I love to use in. It's very nifty and it's extremely classy. So what does that do? When you go into the manual, to the help text, this is what it does, right? And I don't remember all the functions, but I have a high level idea of what each of them does. And then I use it. What this is doing is it's saying, if my ship mode is either a first class or a same day, then my return is a priority return. And what did I do right off the bat? Let's look at the data. I kept only returns in my data set. I put a global filter while preparing the extract, and I kept returns. So consider myself as the person who is in charge of the returns, who is the VP of returns in, say, Walmart, right? Or Amazon, something like that. And I'm wanting to fire a bunch of people, and I want to know who did most poorly. So I want to find out why my priority, the orders that were shipped as a priority were returned, because that cost me most. Shipping dollars, manufacture dollars, and return dollars. That is really bad. So with that question, I have built, why am I going to build this dashboard? Because I want to reorg my organization based on returns. With that question, I've started this dashboard, and I encourage you to interact with it. I want to know how my manager in the West did. I want to know how my manager in the East did, and then go from there and drill down into a greater information, even to the granularity of my customer. So I can right off the bat know that these are the things where my profit ratio is poor. I can know where that sale happened, I can know when that sale happened, and things like that. So if I were the top man in the returns department, I would start from here and then take my journey through to the most granular information, and then have a meeting with my zonal manager um, of the East region, or maybe the West region, because California over here is a big business unit, right? So with these ideas, I start building this dashboard. No one asked me to build it, but I build it role playing the various roles that we have to play in our day. So we talked about the in operator. Let's see how quickly we can build a donut chart. So let's take the pie chart. So we have, let's say we want to build a pie chart of, if I want to recreate this, what did we do? So we threw in region into the colors, and then what is my angle? My angle is my measure value, which is profit and sales. So let's take either one of them and build a donut. Time check. Please let me know. I get carried away when I build things. So please, someone let me know if I'm going over time, okay?
Yeah, no, we still have at least 10 minutes, and then we should probably keep us some time for questions after.
Okay, perfect. So maybe I'll build a donut, build a map, and then start taking questions. I don't want to build this because Andy Kriebel, VizWiz, and I can put a link to this after, has a fantastic video on how to build this kind of a KPI chart. So, and who can do better than Andy? So I don't want to speak about this, but we can build donut charts and maps and map in a map kind of a thing. Let's see. So donut, sales dollars. I can't even see the sales dollars. Yeah, here. All right, this is everything. And then where's my region? Goes into color, right? Now I come here and I make it into a pie chart. Didn't work quite well. No problem. There you go. Now make this full screen. Why am I struggling? Yeah. Mouse. Yeah. Sum 0. We could have anything like a sum 1, but for now. So now we have two charts, right? Why the hell do we need the same thing over? But I will tell you in a moment as to why. And then let's throw in the dollar value here and the region here, right? And the other one, I want to remove everything but the sum dollars, right? And then change the color to white, right? And then go to my metadata, and then default properties, number format, and this is dollars. So currency custom, I don't want any decimals, and I want to show them in, say, thousands. How does it look? No. Maybe millions. And just leave 1, okay? Nope, not so good. And this is what it is, you ask yourself whether you'd like to see something like this. But for argument's sake and for time's sake, let's pause here. This is 7 million, and now make this a dual axis, right? Nothing seen, no problem. It's a matter of size. So let's go into the size. And this I learned much later into the game. If your marker is in between the start and the end, then it's a good thing. Then Tableau takes care of sizing and nothing is lost. So now I have my inner pie sides smaller than my outer pie. That gives you the notion of a donut. Some people like a deep dish pizza, some like a thin crust pizza, but here you go. That's a deep dish. This is a thin crust, right? So with that, you see, you can now play with that donut. Sometimes people do color the legends. So you don't want legend on the map, no problem. Color it by that. One legend less, right? Let's talk about building a map. All right, so region. Double click that. Okay. Okay. So when we are talking about maps, typically a filled map does well, but it's up to choice. There is a cleanup that is required. So here, my different regions are west, east, south, and central. So these are the 4 regions, beautiful. But I do want to see state-related information. So this won't do. So let me find state. I can't find it.
I think it's in the location hierarchy.
Right. Thank you. Right. It's I didn't grab my coffee, but thank you. Perfect. Now, if I color by state, you'll see that this isn't pretty, but we can see that all the states are here. So we want to color it by, say, sales, right? So here is sales and color by that. Summer sales by state. There it is. And you could, if you are lost, you could do that. There you go. Perfect. Now clean up the map a little bit. Map layers. Take away everything, leave only what you like. Took away everything. Good. And then clean it up. Map. Make it more relevant. Call out the dollar value. There you go. Done. Call out the, no, it'll get busy. Now, when you come here, maybe you don't want to show it in millions, right? Then you can go in over here and change the, override the default, and then choose a different currency, custom, nothing, and maybe show this in thousands, right? Sorry, my bad. There you go. So right off the bat, we can tell that this is, if you think this is busy, then take the labels out and put them in the tooltip. Clean it up if need be, or leave it if need be. Make it more relevant for everybody knows West. That is your West and state and this. Let's see what's going on here. So United States, everybody knows that. It's a popular country. Do I want it in the tooltip? Maybe not. Do I want to say it's region West? Maybe not. I do need the state, so just leave it there and sales. There you go. And then cosmetic stuff. So
Right.
I've built the donut chart and I've built the map. I don't know whether I can show the map in map. How are we doing with time?
Well, we're at 5 minutes till the end of the session. So if there's any questions, it's probably good to go to questions now.
Yes.
There is actually a question, yeah. How did you show when the data was refreshed?
Pardon me?
So how did you show when the data was refreshed? So how you build that?
Okay, let's go here. So I created a worksheet called last updated. And then I went to the title, and then you have this information available to you when you use the date. Are you able to see it? It's called data update time. It comes shipped with Tableau. There are a whole bunch of other options here, but it comes here. So when I stick it in, and every time my extract refreshes, that's when it shows at what time UTC my sheet was updated.
Good tip. I think it's always really nice to have that on the dashboard if you're able to, and well, either with the extract refresh or try to link it back to the underlying database if you have it.
Right.
Another question was about the light bulb, how you created that one.
Okay, beautiful. I like these questions. I don't have to think much about them. This is pretty stable, staple in our life. So I don't know whether this is a custom shape. Yes, it's a bug tracking shape.
Standards.
Yeah, you could use your custom shapes. This is my Toronto Tug logo. Let's put it because I'm now going to bat for my tug. Choose an image, whatever you like. Some people have anything. Choose whatever, and then on the tooltip, write what you want to write. That's it.
Very good. But yeah, also, just like what Tessa also showed on the state of the state dashboard, I think it's really good to have those kind of extra tooltips, informations to, well, add some definitions without cluttering up your dashboard. So
yes,
always good to include that. Well, Marisa also asked, why would you not be James Bond with your dashboards? With a little wink. Because she's, but I think that's
no answers to that.
No answers there. Okay. And also somebody, well, we have a couple more minutes. So if you can maybe show how the map in a map works, maybe just show the working version instead of trying to rebuild it.
Okay, perfect. So this is a map. Let's build a B map. And let's go to a more granular map this time. Let's go for a city, right? And then go here, and then worksheet, tooltip, and then insert MVP. I'm going to show the minimum viable product. What's that sheet? And city. There you go. Done.
Yeah. So essentially the sheet in Vision tooltip sheets. Which, yeah.
So step one is create a map. Step two, create another map with more granularity. And then in the higher map, in the aggregated map, go into the worksheet tooltip or go into the tooltip and then add it. That's it.
Okay, awesome. I see no more questions, but if there are any final questions, we have like 1 minute left in this meeting. So I don't know if anyone has like a final question. Just wait a little bit for people to type them in if they need to. But I don't see anything coming up. In which case I'll quickly switch back and present a final couple of slides. thanks again for everyone presenting today. Thanks, Wessel, Tessa, and Ojoswi. I think it were all really nice presentations today. I hope everyone had something they could take back and in their own way of building dashboards or working with Tableau. We have all the contact details, at least your LinkedIn details for all of you on the event page. So if anyone wants to reach out, well, I'm sure you're happy to answer a few more questions if you're able to. And otherwise, well, just a quick reminder that we have the Vis for Social Good collaboration on the 29th of April. Somebody asked already if there was a link that we can share for the event to sign up. We haven't finalized all the details yet. Once we have that, we'll make sure to put that also. We'll send out an email to everyone who's signed up for this event. So you should be getting that. And well, if you're interested to join, we're happy to see you there. If you're interested in presenting like the people we had today, please reach out to us. We're always looking for more presenters. If we have more presenters, we can easily have more of these sessions. And well, we're always interested in hearing different kinds of stories, whether it's your experience in deploying Tableau, whether it's building a dashboard, or whether it's some tips and tricks like what was shared today. So please reach out, and we're happy to we'll try and host you in one of our future meetings. I'm seeing just one more question now come in from Erwin, where the date came from on the refresh date. I think it's one of the standard fields that you can add to a title. I think it's called the data updated date. I don't have Tableau open right now to show you, but so that's probably something you can find. If you want more information from this user group, you can follow us either on our LinkedIn group, which I'll have to admit is not super active, but we'll try to put all the details for future events there. There's also the user groups from Tableau site. There is where we will definitely put all the new events and make sure you get updates for future events. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. It was nice to see a lot of people here, and we're finishing just on time. Thanks for everyone for presenting. Thanks everyone for being here, and I hope you have a great day. Hope to see you in a future event.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.